Today, we are in Philadelphia, traveling from the airport to Center City. Whether you're here to visit the city of brotherly love or traveling onwards, it is a very fast and easy connection. But it is a little bit weird though. Let me show you. I think city to airport rail connections are important. Don't get me wrong, on journeys that you can take the train, you should, but if you have to fly, I think you should take the train at least to the airport. Now, as far as airport rail connections go, really the US isn't doing too bad. I mean, yes, there are a lot of airports that don't have a rail connection, but really that's mostly just because there are a lot of cities that don't have rail systems. The majority of cities that have a rail transit system have a rail connection to the airport. Of course, there are a few glaring exceptions. And who could forget the airport that sees frequent train service to other cities but not its own? I've been on most of them at this point, some of them in videos that I have yet to edit. But there's been one that has always fascinated me: Philadelphia's. See, in most cities in the United States, the airport rail connection is part of the local transit system, the subway or the light rail. But in Philadelphia, it's part of the expansive regional rail network. On top of that, the Philly Airport Station, or stations, has a very strange layout. So last year I had the opportunity to finally land at Philadelphia Airport, and so despite being jet lagged, I decided this was the day I was going to film the SEPTA Airport line. We'll save the weirdness for a little bit later though. When you first arrive, it's a very normal airport process. You get off the plane, you immediately look for a bathroom, then maybe you go through border control. If it's an international flight, you wait for your bags. But at baggage claim, we can already see the SEPTA Airport line right underneath us. Just like all the SEPTA regional rail lines, the tracks are electrified. Now that we have our bag, we'll follow signs towards the train, and they say different things on different signs. Sometimes they just say ground transportation, other times they say trains to central Philadelphia, other times they say Center City train. But despite that, you should be able to figure it out. And then right before the airport exit, we find an electronic departure display showing us that there are trains leaving to Center City every half hour. The airport line runs every day of the week, every half hour from 5 in the morning until midnight. For an airport connection, I think it's a bit infrequent, but for a regional rail line, that's not too bad. You can use your debit card to pay for the train. Just tap it at one of these readers. After running through Center City, on weekdays, trains continue usually to the Warminster Line, Chestnut Hill East Line, whereas on weekends, they continue to the Warminster Line or the Norristown Line. You can learn more about through service in Philadelphia by watching my dedicated video on it. There are two ways to access the station, either to leave the airport building and cross the street like we did, or to use the overpass. Either way is accessible. There are elevators and there's a ramp, and the platforms are high level, so boarding with the train is level. We are at Terminal A, which as the crow flies is the farthest from Center City, Philadelphia, but as the train runs is actually the closest because the train makes kind of a hook shape. The platforms are the most interesting part of the station. As you can see, there's a side platform and then a big middle platform, so 2 tracks with 3 platforms. And the middle platform looks like it extends a lot longer than the side platform does. In fact, if we zoom in, we see that just a few hundred feet away, there's another side platform. Why is there a gap in the platform? Actually, there's not. These are technically 2 separate stations. It's just that the middle platform extends all the way. Look, here comes our train. It's a Silverliner 5, the newest trains in SEPTA's regional rail fleet, and it's stopped at the Terminal B station. Once it departs, it will continue to run along that big long platform in the middle until it stops at our Terminal A station. Let's look at a map. The SEPTA Airport line has 4 stations serving the airport. They are Terminal A, Terminal B, Terminal C and D, and Terminals E and F. Only the Terminal A and Terminal B stations have that shared platform setup. The other stations are separate. But it's certainly a strange sight to see a train stopping at your platform, but it's actually at a different station. By the way, if you want to see a more extreme version of this, check out an older video I made about the Chicago L, where underneath the loop, we'll find North America's longest train platform. One platform that serves as 3 active stations and 1 abandoned station. We're taking the airport line to 30th Street Station, where transfer is available to Amtrak. It's going to take 23 minutes to reach 30th Street, which really isn't bad. If your destination is in a different part of Center City, this train will continue through the tunnel and then back out into the suburbs again. The airport line opened in 1985, making it much newer than the rest of the SEPTA regional rail network. However, parts of the line are also incredibly old. The oldest section opened in 1838 and was actually the original Northeast Corridor. Although, of course, back then it wasn't called the Northeast Corridor. However, in 1873, passenger trains started taking a newer line, and the original branch was downgraded to just a freight line. Until the 1970s, part of it was repurposed to become the airport line as we know it today. We make one intermediate stop at Eastwick Station. That stop opened in 1997. After that, we briefly join up with Amtrak's Northeast Corridor before branching off again, stopping at Penn Medicine, then joining with all the other regional rail lines to stop on the upper level of Philadelphia's 30th Street Station. These trains do have baggage racks for your bags, so you don't have to keep them by your legs like I did. Overall, I think this is a great airport connection. The departures are consistent throughout the day, every day. It takes less than half an hour to get to Center City, and being part of the regional rail network means that more destinations are easier to reach from the airport. My one critique would be that once every half hour just isn't enough service. Honestly, if you live in the Northeast, it may be worth seeing if flights in and out of Philadelphia work for you. I've noticed they're often more affordable, and with the convenience of the SEPTA Airport line, it means you can go straight to 30th Street Station and hop on a Northeast Regional to Washington or New York City. That's what we did tonight, and it worked great. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome, and we'll see you next time.